Hello, everyone. It is Allison from AllisonReeves.co. And today I want to be talking about ways to make money ASAP for five-ish different industries. This is related to a lot of the mindset work I've been teaching lately. And part of why we're talking about mindset, part of why I'm talking about mindset is the money mindset side of things. And so I thought, why don't we connect that to like what happens after you work on your mindset, how to actually connect the dots to making more money. So if that's something that you're interested in, then just keep watching. So for all of these things, I'm going to be covering if you are established already or if you are like newer in the entrepreneur journey. So the first thing I want to talk about is blogging. This is kind of where I started, so I'm going to start here. Now, if you're a blogger, then you are going to probably depend on a volume-based business, meaning that you're going to have to build a lot of traffic, low-cost offers, ad revenue. Not necessarily. I mean, there are some high-ticket businesses that are leveraging blogs to get clients. But either way, a blog is not a quick win for getting sales and leads early on. And so if you are newer to blogging and you want to make money ASAP, you're going to have to probably leverage some kind of social media, social sales, or direct outreach to get like more people to see you sooner rather than later. Actually, I have a course on this called the Small Audience Sales System, but basically, you're going to leverage a social media platform where conversation is welcome. That could be Facebook, that could be LinkedIn, or that could be Instagram. But you are going to depend on social selling in some capacity to grow your email list so that you can get sales faster. Another way to get sales faster, and this actually can apply to a lot of these, before you're well established, you can borrow other people's audiences to grow your own audience a little bit faster. That could be participating in bundles, summits, maybe being a podcast guest. I haven't personally had a lot of luck with growing my audience being a podcast guest, although it is good for branding. And I know some people just entirely rely on that to grow their audience. It hasn't worked for me. But audience borrowing is a great way to get more leads and sales before you have your own established audience. If you are more established as a blogger, if you have an audience already, then the way to make sales ASAP is just to run some kind of flash sale. You can do this by creating your own low-cost offer, but if you don't want to create your own offer, you can either do a flash sale for some kind of coaching offer, which doesn't require you to build anything beforehand, or you could even do a push for an affiliate product that you believe in. A lot of people don't think about this. They think about using affiliates just to pop a link here and there, but you can actually do a whole content campaign and like a launch just based on an affiliate. So let's say I have an affiliate product on Amazon. Is not my favorite affiliate platform, but let's just say that because most people are familiar with it. Let's say I had a client in the past who had a blog on like scooters. And so one of her highest paying affiliates was helmets for scooters, and she would write reviews for them. So if she wanted to make money ASAP, I would say send out, 5 emails over 5 or 7 days to push the helmets. And you could even make it sexy by incentivizing people to forward you their receipts. Like, I'll give you this guide on scooter safety for free if you forward me your receipt from buying the helmet. So that's one way to make money ASAP if you're a blogger and you have an audience. Similarly with creators, so I'm differentiating blogger from creator because a creator may or may not have what we think of as a traditional blog. So when I say creator, I'm talking about podcast, newsletter creators, influencers that just are building an audience on a social platform. So to get sales ASAP, as a creator with no audience, similar to a blog, you're going to have to rely on social selling and or audience borrowing. If you are established as a creator and you need to make money ASAP, like a lot of creators default to making money is sponsorships and just kind of like waiting for the volume to come. A lot of creators forget that they can create their own offers as well. I feel like bloggers are more naturally inclined to know about online education, whereas influencers don't always think about that as a default. But if you can think about something to sell that you can create as a creator, that's a great way to make money ASAP if you have an audience. Brick and mortar. I don't have a ton of brick and mortar businesses in my audience, but I do have some that have physical product in-person businesses. So I wanted to touch on this briefly. If you are newer to having a brick and mortar and you want to get sales ASAP, again, similar to blogging and being a creator, like audience borrowing is a great way to get visibility faster. So how do you do audience borrowing as a brick and mortar? You can partner with other local businesses to run promotions. You can even like cross promote each other. So you can ask a related store that's near to you to kind of have a sign or brochures about your store, and you can do the same for them where you'll be promoting their store inside of your store. There's lots of other ways that you can do this, like having signage outside. It depends on the kind of brick and mortar business you have. So if anybody, I see couple people on here live. If you're live and you're watching this and you have a brick and mortar, or if you're watching the replay and you have a brick and mortar and you want to tell me what your brick and mortar is, I can give you some more examples and how you can like get sales as soon as possible before you have like an established foot traffic to your store. If you're established already, just having a sales event similar to like doing a course launch, having a sales event that has a timeline associated with it. So a promotion week, maybe every single month you focus on putting something on sale. But in order to get people to buy, sometimes you have to give them an incentive. This is why if you subscribe to like Old Navy's email list, you'll pretty much always be getting a sale every week, right? That's how they get people to buy, even though, of course, they have things that they're selling all the time that are not on sale. But they do sales often because deadlines get people to move who are on the fence about something. So you can apply that same tactic to really all of these, but in brick and mortar, people often don't think about creating some kind of deadline to get people to move who aren't buying. If you're a coach and you're trying to get sales as soon as possible, if you are early in your coaching business, you are going to have to do social sales as well, or some kind of connection with people. What I like to do that's different for coaches as opposed to creators and bloggers is really push strategy sessions, or they're really sales calls, but they're sales calls with a value associated with them. So you may not want to call it a strategy session. You may want to call it, like one of my calls in the past was called an alignment audit. And I've called my sales calls different things in the past. But when you're a coach, instead of focusing just on getting as many sales as possible, what you really want to focus on, especially, I mean, this is true all the time, but especially early on, before you have an established, refined offer and niche, you need to talk to as many people as possible. And hopefully some of those turn into sales. But more importantly, they'll turn into clarity, which will make it a lot easier to get sales along the way. So when you're newer as a coach, you need to generate conversations as much as possible. So rather than selling your coaching early on, you're selling your call. You're selling the value of the free call. Because again, you need to talk to as many people as possible, which will help you speed up your process to getting a full client roster. If you're an established coach and you're trying to get sales as soon as possible, my assumption is that you're already putting out invitations for your coaching often. And what can happen for coaches and consultants is you might have a lot of people, like the people who are in your audience who are ready to move have moved, right? So if you've been communicating with your audience on a regular basis and you're having a stall in getting more sales, you might need to put something fresh in front of the people. Now, I'm a huge fan in coaching and consulting and having a simple business and having, especially before 5-figure months, like really going all in on 1 or 2 offers. But if you have a stall in sales and you're starting to build your audience, a really great way to move people over the edge is to introduce like a mini way to work with you. This is not lowering your prices, but this is like doing an intensive that's just 1 or 2 hours, or maybe having like a VIP messaging day on Voxer or WhatsApp, where you maybe do a call in the morning and then give somebody coaching access to you via Messenger all day. But having like a miniatured way to work with you where they can get a taste of what it's like could be a great way to make some income, but hopefully push more people over the edge to work with you in the long term as well. Another tip that I like to do with this is if I sell somebody an intensive, I like to roll that, what they paid, into a bigger coaching offer. So for example, I have a mastermind that is a year that is $1,000 a month. But if somebody buys an intensive or another smaller coaching offer, I might apply that price to like the whole year of coaching to reduce what their payment plan would be. So again, it's just an incentive to try to get people to move, and it tends to work really well for me. Lastly, I want to talk about service providers, which have some similarities to coaches and consultants, but a little bit different. Service providers, I feel like, as far as high ticket offers, it's the easiest thing that kind of sells itself. When you're a coach or consultant, you are selling a result, but you have to really sell also a lot of self-belief, right? So with a coach and consultant, when you're like mentoring somebody, you're not just selling yourself and your offer, you're also having to help the person know that they can actually do the thing, because ultimately with coaching and consulting, they are responsible for the results. The client is responsible. Service-based offers can more easily sell themselves because the person is getting a thing no matter what. So in a service-based offer, you can more easily promise results, right? Or you can promise assets. So if you work with me as a service provider, I'm going to build you a website. There's no chance of failure. You're going to have a website or you're not at the end of this. Like, we can just determine success and failure really easily. So I really like service-based offers. And unlike coaching, whereas if you mass direct message people with coaching, it can seem a little skeevy unless you do it the right way, or creepy. But if you mass message people as a service provider, I don't know, it just feels less creepy to me. It's like, hey, I have this thing. Do you want this thing? Like, hey, I can run ads for you. Are you looking for someone to run ads? Hey, I build websites. Are you looking for someone to build a website? So when you're a service provider and you're new, you want to message people, and you want to, like, you can, several ways to get their attention would be to audit their assets, give them a free tool. But when you are newer as a service provider, I would direct message people, give them some kind of value, and then tell them what you do. And then if you're established as a service provider, you can kind of use some of the incentives we talked about earlier with coaching and consulting, where as a service provider, my assumption, if you have an audience already, is that you've been making offers on a regular basis. So if you want to get more people to move over the edge that are on the fence, I would say give them a miniature way to work with you. So instead of saying, like, we're going to run your Facebook ads for 3 to 6 months, you can say, like, we'll do a Facebook ads intensive with you where we'll help you get your first ad live. And then obviously your hope with that is that they would work with you when they eventually can in the future. But either way, you've made some money and you've built some trust with a prospect that is really qualified. So hopefully all these things are helpful. If you guys are looking for more help on sales and marketing, I've got free workshops that I do every single month. You can go to alicereeves.co/workshop. I also have the Success Mindset Mastery course on sale through tomorrow, June 22nd. So if you're watching this live, make sure to go over there to get that 66% off before it expires. If you're watching this in the future, you can still go to that link and get on the wait list for the next sale. So thank you guys so much, whoever joined live and whoever's watching the replay, and I will see you in the next video. Okay, bye.